Good morning, this is Luke with Austin's Appliance Service. Yesterday my head was huge. Today I seem to be more head and shoulders. I don't know what that's all about, but anyways, I'm going to try to start utilizing the video side of Facebook more often. Facebook analytics and, just the way things are. Everything is pushing people to go towards video. And so I figured I'll get on board and see if I can use it this way. If it seems to have more of a reach when I go this route. Every time I do occasionally put a video on, it seems to get to more people's eyes. And so personally, I've always thought I had a face for radio and a voice for Braille. But so anyways, I'm going to try to overcome and use these means as a way of reaching customers. And it does kind of open up an avenue to go back over some things and not feel like I'm just retreading the same tires. Because a lot of times when you put out tips and different things, it seems like I always feel like I'm just telling people the same thing. So maybe in this format, it'll kind of give it maybe some of the same things, kind of a fresh feel to them. But anyways, so one of the things I wanted to address this morning is something that even today, it's something I deal with all the time. I deal with that question, Luke, why don't you work on LG or Samsung? And I've written on this before, but what this boils down to is a lot of people assume I won't work on LG or Samsung because they're a piece of junk. Kind of a weird assumption. I'm a repairman. So I work on the things that break. So why would I have an issue with working on the ones that break a lot? LG and Samsung's product, as far as the quality, is not really inferior to anybody else. The only exception or qualification I'd say that is if you have an LG refrigerator, and you probably already know, or if you've had one, you probably already know they have problems, particularly. The LG refrigerator has a lot of compressor issues. I mean, everything breaks. You give it enough time, it breaks. But the problem with LG is that when they break, it is not an inexpensive repair. Typically, they've had a lot of issues with their compressors. A compressor repair can easily start pushing $1,000. By the time you put in the parts, labor, and all the things that are involved into an LG refrigerator repair, you might as well just buy a new fridge. Usually how that starts is people will call me and say, my freezer's not cold enough. The first place you'll notice is the freezer. Ice cream's super soft and soupy, but I think the fridge is okay. I think the fridge section is okay. But what most people don't realize is in most applications, you don't have one without the other. So in other words, if your freezer's warm, you're likely going to have a warm fridge too. It just doesn't usually show up as quick because people don't notice that their milk's a little warm as quickly as they do that the ice cream is soup. But typically, you've got an LG fridge that if it's not cooling anywhere, if you find after a day or two it's just went down and you have no cold whatsoever, throw it away. Don't even mess with it. But again, I don't even work on them, and that was really the point of this video, is to explain why. Particularly, so with LG, and this information is 15 years dated now, these issues may have been corrected. But, my big issue with it now is I've been doing this 23 years. I don't want to have to relearn product. I've got so much to do and so much work as it is. I don't need LG or Samsung. But with LG, what their big issue is they were sending us not bad parts or anything like that. It was just flat out the wrong parts. And it was so consistent that it became an issue that we could not provide good service, and it reflected poorly upon us. And again, when I say us, this is back when I was with Gregory's. And you're dealing with, when LG and Samsung came into the American market, they both came in about the same time. They'd always been in the market to some degree. People didn't realize, like an LG, what they actually are is those old cheap Gold Star microwaves you bought at Walmart. LG is not Life is Good. It was Lucky Gold Star. They wanted to have a new face, and so they put out the motto, Life is Good. They're Lucky Gold Star. But anyways, so LG could not provide us with the proper parts. I had a refrigerator one time. Multiple times we ran into this issue, but we waited, I want to say 6 months to get the right control for this refrigerator. And what would happen is you'd put the control into the refrigerator, and now you open the doors and the lights go out and the fans come on, and you close the doors and the lights come on and the fans turn off. It was completely reversed or inverted from what it should have been. And no one could answer the question as to why. I mean, they could tell us that, well, we've got manufacturing facilities in South Korea and in Mexico, and the electronics from one facility won't intersect with the other, but nobody knew which one was coming from where. And so that was why we dropped LG. And again, when I say we, it was Gregory's. This has probably been 15 years ago. I don't know if these issues have been corrected, but again, I don't need LG. I'm so busy that I don't feel like going back to try to really learn about LG product 15 years with a 15-year knowledge gap. And I know how a washer works. I know how a dryer works. I know how a refrigerator works. I know the general concept. But you put the Whirlpool refrigerator in front of me. You put a GE dryer in front of me. I'm very familiar with the intricacies of that appliance. I know the finer details. I don't know the finer details of LG and Samsung. And that's really the bigger issue. So with Samsung, and again, it was an issue where we could not provide quality service. And again, when I say we, Gregory's. And so with Samsung, what the issue was is, so every company that you do warranty work for has an 800 number for technical support. And I should be able to get on the phone, go through the phone prompts, and get to the Samsung, refrigeration guy or the laundry guy. I have to have a broad working knowledge. I need to know how to work on a GE refrigerator. I need to know how to work on a Frigidaire dryer. My knowledge has to be broad. But when I go through these phone prompts, I'm supposed to be talking to the Samsung refrigeration guy. Like, this guy needs to know one product and need to know it inside and out and backwards and forward. And most companies were good at providing that. So like if you can get a bad tech anywhere. I can get on the phone, get on the 800 number and call Whirlpool, call GE, and get a guy that just doesn't know what they're doing. That guy's there, who knows? They're there for a tax write-off. I mean, they don't really know what they're doing. That can happen with any company, any tech line, at any time. People can make mistakes. These things happen. But with Samsung, it was every time. You'd sit on the phone for 15, 20 minutes on hold to get to somebody that essentially, this is the response I would get. I don't know. Try this. I can do that. I don't need someone else to guess for me. When I get through those phone prompts, I need to be talking to somebody that knows that one product very well. And so with LG and Samsung, it's not a quality thing. It's a piece of junk thing. Again, I'm the repairman. I work on the piece of junk. I work on the thing that breaks. That's not going to stop me. It is a matter of they were not providing the things that I needed to provide quality service. And again, this, what I'm telling you right now is 15 years, 16 years ago. These things, they could have corrected these issues. So I don't know. These things could have all gotten straightened out by now. But again, my knowledge of them is 15 years dated. I don't want to pick them back up. And I do know, if you live in the Cadillac, Big Rapids area, you are wise to just avoid those products because you are going to find that most people won't work on them. I think that these issues were felt in the area with most service providers. There's very few that will work on them. And of those few, I don't know of any that I would actually recommend. And so, in conclusion, why don't I work on LG and Samsung? Really, it came down to I could not provide good service because they were not providing what we needed. But that information is dated. That could have gotten corrected, but I'm not that guy. I'm not going to pick them back up. So anyways, that was just something I wanted to touch on this morning, kind of put out there. Trying a new format, trying to get things out in video form, because everything on Facebook and all social media is kind of, they don't really let me promote the business very well through written form. They seem to really want to move things towards video, and I've never been comfortable with video, but we're going to try to see if we can push through. So anyways, I'm going to get to work, and you guys have a good day.